Okay, everybody, welcome to downtown in Daytona. Thank God I made it through episode number 1. I'm ready for episode number 2, and I think I'm a little more prepared for you guys. Actually ended up with 10 people who downloaded and listened to the episode. Let's see how many of those I could lose tonight. This is Steve. I am the owner of Fun Coast Tours, and this is Downtime in Daytona. So first off, I want to introduce, it's kind of a new segment I'm going to be doing where I play you some recordings that I got permission to record during my rideshare driving. I ran into a couple of interesting people. This one was kind of interesting to me on a couple levels. This is a couple named Amber and Michael. What was interesting about these two people is, well, they're a couple that's long distance right now. Amber lives in one state, Michael lives in another. They've been married for years, and they have a daughter, and they share a daughter. They've never lived together. I think I'll tell you the rest after we hear it. All right, downtime in Daytona. I am in the Uber. I have just picked up Amber and Michael, and they were at Racing's North Turn, and they just told me something strange. They are from Michigan, but not just Michigan, pure Michigan. I said, what the hell's that? And before they answer, I asked if I can record. Do I have your permission to record you for the podcast?
Yes,
all right.
You do.
Now, what the hell is pure Michigan?
Thank you. It's crazy. We've been talking about this all afternoon.
Oh my God.
So I'm originally from California, born and raised.
What part?
East Oakland.
Okay.
And I live in Charlotte, North Carolina now. She's in Michigan. We're married. We have a child together.
Okay.
We travel back and forth between like Michigan and California, or North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
So I always give her shit because of the fact of she just says, well, it's just pure Michigan. And I'm like, what is pure Michigan? There's really no real explanation. It's just pure Michigan.
The Great Lakes.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No, but you've never explained that
You've
before.
been there. Yes, I have.
Yes.
I've
So,
explained it 100
but like
times.
but why don't you guys say like pure Flint or like pure Detroit or like something like that?
Here, Michigan is all over. What are you talking about?
Explain.
So you grew up in California
Born and raised in California.
and live in North Carolina.
Yes.
You live
I
in
grew up in
pure
Michigan.
Okay, in Michigan, near Flint. My family's from Flint,
Grand
and I
Rapids.
grew up in San Diego.
Oh,
So, Cali.
she's in Grand Rapids.
So how long have you guys been together?
8 years.
Yeah.
Over 8. Just over 8 years now. Yeah.
Have you been long distance the whole time?
Kind
Yeah.
of.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
Pretty much. We made it work.
Have you lived together at any point?
No.
Okay, help me with this. You have a child. You have a child together.
This is like explaining.
Before you help me, how long have you been married?
We've been married for about 3 years now.
Okay, how old is your child?
5.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Help me understand.
This is gonna make the top of the podcast.
Yeah, it is.
So we met when I was playing football. I was playing like arena ball and stuff like that.
Okay.
I played a little bit in the pros and stuff like that too as well. But we met when I was playing ball, and we were together for the most part throughout me playing, and then we kind of like broke up and kind of went our own
That
separate
wasn't
ways.
kind of that we know we did.
We did.
Okay,
I was
There's
trying to make it better for the podcast. Whatever. But you know what? Fuck it. Jesus, take the wrong wheel then. All right. So, anyways, so yes, we broke up, but then we got back together and things like that too as well. Then we ended up having a child, and in the midst of us having a child, we
Broke up again.
We separated, and we finally got our shit together now that we're old as shit. So yeah. Ever since then, it's been great.
Okay, that did not help me understand. Why are you still not together?
So
Someone's got an incredible job. Both of you have incredible jobs, right? Tell me that's it.
She and my son are gonna be moving down to where I am at.
Okay.
In Charlotte, probably within the next like 6 months or so.
So you have the incredible job.
Ish. Yeah, it's pretty decent, I guess.
What's your incredible job? I'm guessing you're a hairstylist or a tattoo artist.
No.
The furthest thing from both.
Politician.
I'm a nurse.
Okay. What kind of nurse?
Bariatric. I've been doing that for almost 9 years.
And what do you do right now?
Me?
Yeah.
So I'm retired from football. I work in NASCAR now.
Okay, so hopefully people are going to hear this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was going to say, be careful. Don't say your name because you said you played in the pros. It might be hard to, or it might be easy to track you down, but you haven't said anything incriminating yet.
Unfortunately, yes, it's fine. It's okay.
Do you want to say your last name?
Nope.
Okay. So you played arena ball in the States.
So I played arena football. I got picked up by the Chiefs in 11, Chargers in 13, and then Carolina in 15. But then I played mainly arena ball in Bloomington for a while, in Illinois, like Chicago too as well. Iowa Barnstormers and stuff like that too. So.
That's crazy. I lived in San Diego, grew up in San Diego. I left San Diego and moved to Wichita, Kansas.
Oh,
and their team's the Chiefs too.
Wichita Wild. Yeah, they have a team. They have an arena team. Yeah, we're playing against them.
That's crazy.
Are
So
you
Chiefs and
fan?
Chargers. No, they're Chargers. Come on.
You know what? That's the thing that I said too as well.
Chargers ruined my relationship
One of the
with
most
football.
Dysfunctional organizations I've ever got a call from. Just getting a workout was a struggle in itself.
I don't know what's going on with Spanos, but there's a serious disconnect.
There's a serious disconnect with the whole organization when it comes to everything. But that's neither here nor
Is
there.
that in your personal experience with
It's
it?
just personal experience. If your name's not Phillip Rivers, then they really didn't give two shits about you. Like when people are carting LaDainian Tomlinson to come into like training camp, I'm like, come on now, bro. Like he's a Hall of Famer. He lived like it's LT. Like you know what I mean? Like there were guys there that just.
You played with both of these guys?
No. So when I came there, it was like Ryan Matthews was there and stuff like that. It's just the organization is very dysfunctional. At the time, if you weren't Phillip Rivers, then you literally like no one, they didn't care about you. Like you were very disposable. But in the NFL in general, though, like, you're very disposable. You know what I mean? Like you get called in for a workout, you get signed. 3 days later, they slap you on the ass and you're on a Greyhound back home. You know what I mean? They don't even buy you a ticket, to fly out. They'll fly you in. They'll give you the red carpet and everything too, but when you're leaving, they can give two shits about you.
Yeah, you're not making money for them anymore.
Exactly. If you're not profitable for them, then it doesn't matter. But when you are and you're worth something, then they'll do everything they can to cover up all your bad stuff and everything else too as well. But
so Amber, let's talk about how long were you with the Chiefs? No, I'm just So did you get another nursing job down there, or are you gonna find one when you get there?
Yeah, I'm gonna find one when I get there.
Okay. I got the hair.
I know.
How does it work?
everywhere. If it's not me for football, then it's her for her hair, or because she's extremely good looking. So.
Do you have tattoos? I didn't notice.
I do. I have 2.
Just 2?
Yeah, working on more.
Okay, that's where I was going. I'm like, you got it.
I know.
If you might have just 1, but there's no such thing as just 2.
Right.
Guys, thank you very much. That was very entertaining.
No problem.
Okay, those people were very fun to talk to on so many levels. First off, I mean, he played football in 2 cities that I lived in prior to coming to Florida. On top of that, okay, so her hair was crazy. She had a multicolored mohawk. It was well done. But I expected her to be a tattoo artist. I expected her to do, I don't know, piercings, Brazilian waxes and piercings. I don't know. And I don't know if you guys caught that, but what he said he does now is he works for NASCAR. That ties into a lot of what we're going to be talking about here. You might not know, this weekend was the Coke Zero Sugar 400 here in Daytona. It's a very big event. Actually marks the end of the regular Cup Series season. This goes back a long way. NASCAR was actually founded here in Daytona. The paperwork was actually signed at the Streamline Hotel back in 1950. The Streamline Hotel, actually, the lobby has a bit of a museum. So if you're ever in town and you're on A1A staying out beachside, go by the Streamline, check it out. You probably might have another reason to go there because they have a rooftop bar. If you're ever out for the evening, you will pass through this little museum. If you're a NASCAR fan, you'll love it. So the first time the race was ran was 1959. Consists of 160 laps and 400 miles, hence the 400 in the name. Pre-pandemic, this used to be run on around July 4th, the first Saturday in July. Things changed recently. Last year, the World Cup fire. Everything went crazy. NASCAR, as you can understand, the track here, Daytona International Speedway, it seats 101,000 people. So you can imagine an event that is supposed to take place that seats 101,000 people. That's just in the bleachers. That's just the bleachers, not counting the infield. 101,000 people that are not getting seated, that are not buying tickets. That's devastating. That's devastating to that industry. It supports so many people in that industry. So the World Cup fire, they couldn't. I mean, I guess they would if they had to. They would cancel it if they had to. But what they did is they tried to find out how they can hold it later, and they did. So they moved it to the very end of the season. Last year, it happened on August 29th. William Byron from the Hendrick Motorsports won that, but it was a limited audience. This year just ran, I'm recording this Monday, it was just run 2 days ago on August 28th. The winner was Ryan Blaney from Team Penske. That's actually a big win for us because we have a family member who works for Team Penske. Hi, George. You all know that I drive rideshare, and I drove this weekend. It's supposed to be a great time for me. Not so much. I'm not sure what happened, but hotels locally were saying they weren't getting the bookings they were expecting to get. Usually the entire weekend's very busy. Don't know what happened there. I don't know. I was unable to find the total booking numbers for people who attended the race. I'm guessing from what I'm hearing from other sources, it wasn't what it should have been. So last year, we know during the pandemic, they had really limited numbers. They were really hoping to rebound this year. I hope they did. I hope they know something I don't. From my end of it, I didn't see a whole lot. I spent a little bit of time driving in New Smyrna Beach as well. New Smyrna Beach is a town that's, well, most of Daytona Beach shores, where beachside Daytona happens, it's on a peninsula. All the way to the east of Daytona, you cross one of many bridges and you're beachside Daytona. That's an island or a peninsula. If you go all the way south down into Ponce Inlet, you'll come down to the lighthouse there. And if you're at the lighthouse looking south, you will see another peninsula coming north. That's New Smyrna Beach. So south of Daytona, south of Port Orange. New Smyrna Beach has a really nice feel for driving rideshare. Those are two of the hot spots, beachside Daytona, New Smyrna Beach. So Flagler Avenue hosts a couple of events also. This one just so happened to coincide with the races. And right here, before we actually get started into that, I want to play something else. And what that's going to be is another ride that I gave. A couple of ladies who were fun and interesting, but they didn't live in Daytona, so I couldn't ask them how they spend their downtime in Daytona, but they came from kind of far. They came, about an hour's drive to come out here and experience the little event they were hosting down in Flagler Avenue. All right, hi, we're sitting here with Cheryl, Aaron, Lisa, and Stephanie. They're in my Uber, and we're going for a ride. Ladies, can you tell me where we're headed?
Wine walk!
Where does the wine walk happen?
Flagler Avenue.
Flagler Avenue, that's in New Smyrna Beach, and it happens the last Saturday of every month. Have you guys been before?
Yes.
Okay, well, so those of you who've been before, can you tell me exactly what happens at the wine walk?
You pay money and you get wine.
It sounds like a bar.
And you walk. And you walk, you get to go in all the stores and
Shop.
yeah.
So I've been one time, but I was really drunk by the end of it, and I barely remember what happened. You go there, you pay a set amount, they give you tickets, and you get to sample wines
Yes.
at each location. Do all of you live here in New Smyrna Beach?
No.
Okay, where do you live?
Geneva.
Okay.
Winter Garden, Jacksonville, Winter Garden.
How often do you guys come out this way?
Every other weekend.
Do you ever stay in Daytona?
No.
No. Do you ever go to Daytona?
No.
So they don't stay in Daytona and they don't go to Daytona. However, they do go to New Smyrna Beach, which is essentially right next to Daytona. I just want to take a minute and talk about that wine walk before I get into the next point that I wanted to make. The wine walk happens the fourth Saturday of every month. Normally the last Saturday of the month, except the months where there are 5 of them. So keep that in mind if you're planning a trip. But the wine walk costs $30. It includes 20 tastings, and you get a souvenir glass for that cost as well. Plus, after 20 samples of wine, you're probably going to be drunk. But New Smyrna Beach has always felt like a little bit of a hidden gem. It's a beautiful area. It was almost untouched. So whereas Daytona, you know that you're in a touristy town when you're in Daytona. Maybe even a little bit of a rundown touristy town when you're in Daytona. Not what you're going to experience when you're in New Smyrna. Flagler Avenue in particular is beautiful. From the minute you cross the bridge from crossing the intercoastal, you're on Flagler Avenue, and it's basically a very artsy area. You're going to find art shops. You're going to find places that sell things like wind chimes. You're going to find small little boutique restaurants and clothing stores. Some bars, very niche kinds of bars as you go down a little bit further, and it ends at the beach. It's really great. I like to go down there a lot of times when I'm doing my ride share. You get a lot of better rides down there, or at least you get a class of people who aren't, I've mentioned before, people come to Daytona to drink, in my experience, which is not insignificant experience, but a lot of people come to Daytona to drink. Conversely, people go to New Smyrna Beach to have a good time. I gave another ride this weekend to some people who might be able to make that point a little bit better for me. I spoke with Jacob and Ariel. They were pretty drunk by the time I picked them up. All right, downtime in Daytona. This is Steve. I'm here with Jacob and Ariel. Jacob and Ariel, do I have permission to use your voice on the podcast?
Of course.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you guys are here from
Orlando.
And I picked you up in New Smyrna Beach in the Uber.
Yes, sir.
And I'm taking you to what? Your hotel?
Yeah.
Or an Airbnb?
No, hotel.
A hotel, okay. So you guys said that you come out here every 3 or 4 months, sometimes to New Smyrna,
Yes.
sometimes to Daytona. Can I ask?
We do the wine walk.
Yeah, what else do you do down here?
The wine walk.
Just wine walk?
Yeah, basically.
All right, and what do you like to do on your downtime in Daytona?
The beach.
Just the beach?
The beach.
Have you guys had a couple drinks today,
Oh, yeah.
in addition to the wine?
For sure.
What time did you start?
Well,
No, the wine walk didn't even start until 1. We didn't check in till 2. So after 2 p.m.
After 2, and pretty much didn't stop until then?
until now.
You were about to give me your impressions of Daytona.
Daytona's nice if you're just going for the beach.
When does it become not nice?
If you're not there for the beach.
What's the craziest things that's happened to you in Daytona, or that you've seen?
Oh, I've seen a guy piss himself on the boardwalk that goes to Joe's Crab Shack or into the ocean.
Yeah.
There's a homeless guy there just pissing on himself, and I look over and I go, "Are you serious?" And Wiener's out pissing on himself, just having a good old time.
What? He took it out.
It was already out as I'm walking by.
Did you say anything to him?
Yeah. I said, "Are you serious?" And he just mumbled some shit like, "Rah, rah, rah."
Was he homeless, or was he just a dude?
For sure homeless.
Okay.
Like, that was his napping spot, and he was just going to piss.
I hope that was a little bit humorous. I thought that was funny, but it's not so uncommon that you meet people in this area who have that kind of feel about Daytona. They're not. I mean, it's a little lackluster. It's definitely got some down points. About 4 years ago, we had a really serious homelessness problem. Luckily, the city went to some lengths to clean that up. They were really stacked 3 and 4 deep on the corners at the busy intersections with a sign that says, "Why lie? I need a beer." But at this point, if any of you have been to Daytona, if any of you live in Daytona, I would really like to ask a question of you, and I would like to see if you're able to give me an answer, because hopefully I might be talking to some people very soon who have the ability to make some changes. But if you are on the podcast page and you scroll down underneath the show notes, you'll see at the bottom you have the option to leave a message. If you click on that link, you can leave a message for me. An audio message, I'm going to be able to hear it. So the question is, what is missing in Daytona, and what does it have too much of? There might be an answer to both of those questions, but if not, then one or the other. What's missing in Daytona? What don't we have that, say, New Smyrna Beach, for example, might have? Or what do we have way too much of? So the answer to that you could leave at the bottom under the show notes, under leave a message. But as for that, I'm going to move on to the next step here. I had a ride from a gentleman that actually made me feel kind of sad and really introspective. I don't know how I felt after it. I felt, I don't know, political. It felt political, but I'm not trying to be political. But let's face it, sometimes things will get political, but I'm not going to comment on this. I'm going to let you just take from it what you want to take from it. It left me sad. All right, downtime in Daytona. I am in the Uber with Yanis. Yanis, do I have your permission to record you for a podcast?
You do.
All right, so Yanis just hopped in the Uber, and I asked if he lived here. He said no. He said he's from Canada. And when I asked you if you came here for the race, Yanis, what was your answer?
My answer was no. I was down here because I can't deal with the changes that Canada is implementing anymore.
So what kind of changes in particular are you talking about?
The removal of the basic rights and freedoms that we're all born with.
Right.
The government legislature that is making it so that basically they can come into our houses, pull us out, choose who gets to go where and when. Just a bunch of different things that don't really make much sense, and they don't really care to explain it. Things no longer get passed through votes or democracy. It just seems like it's turning into communism over there.
Now, is this okay? So I've heard a couple things about this. I've heard that since marijuana was, I guess, decriminalized, or people
it's legalized fully.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like
since that happened. Yeah, since that happened, you kind of have to give up rights like search and seizure. They can just come in your house whenever they want.
Well, certain things like that, yeah, but more specifically with the pandemic is when they really started implementing those things.
What is the reasoning for that with the pandemic?
I guess they just want to be able to control people. I don't really know. I mean, they use the guise of the virus and its deaths and everything else, obviously. But there's certain things that they just go way beyond. Like, there for a long time during the past 2 years, they basically had cross-border checkpoints so like we have provinces instead of states.
Right.
So they would lock down the bridges and stuff. And where I live is a place called Gatineau, which is technically Quebec, but it borders a small bridge to get to Ottawa, which is in Ontario. And a lot of people make that commute every day, and they basically closed that down and wouldn't let anybody through without a valid excuse for months on end. Around the holidays, they went into people's homes. If they had people from their family to try to celebrate, they pulled them out and arrested them. Just a bunch of very, very questionable things. Now, if I want to go back to Canada, I'd probably have to be fully vaccinated or give them a PCR test and then do another 2 weeks of quarantine. They implemented quarantine hotels at a certain point where you couldn't quarantine inside your own home. You had to go to a specific location that they chose under your own dime, and of course these hotels are charging you up to $300 a night.
Do you plan on going back?
Well, I have no choice, unfortunately, because customs gave me a hard time on the way down here. But yeah, it was crazy. I actually wanted to come down here, immigrate in proper ways, find a sponsorship, do it the right way. And basically at customs, the fact that I didn't have a return ticket caused a red flag, and they told me that I basically would only be able to stay here for a month, and that it was up to them whether or not I could stay.
Now we have like less than a minute, so I'm going to ask you: do you see America moving in that direction?
Yeah, it seems that way specifically, yes, but I find that it's just beyond that. At the just in between the Hard Rock and the next building. I see it, but I find Americans in particular have so much value and self-worth and patriotism that they fight back. And my problem with my country is that people seem to just accept it lying down.
Yanis, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
You have a great day and enjoy your stay here. Wow. Okay, so that even got me just again right there. I really liked Yanis, and Yanis, I hope once you go home you do begin the proper channels to immigrate legally. I mean, I don't know how the rest of you guys feel about that. I'm sure we all feel a whole bunch of different ways about that, but I would love to see him do what it takes to get here. I'd like to see a lot of people be able to do that. Does the world, is it starting to feel like The Handmaid's Tale to anyone else? Everything's just a little scary. But all right, to move away from that, I want to introduce a segment that I'm going to be doing every episode. I call it the elevator pitch. It's going like downtime in Daytona. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. Sounds like an elevator ride. So the elevator pitch, what it is every week I'm going to take, if my listeners, all 10 of them, happen to be business owners in Volusia County and take the time to leave a message, as I've described a couple times during this episode. If you leave a message for me, 30 seconds or less, basically your commercial. Give me a pitch about your business. Tell me what you do, why it's great, just like you would be recording a commercial for the radio. Leave that message, and every episode I'm going to go through there. I'm going to pick one of them, and I'm going to play that in this section right here. And you can always just pay me later or not. I don't care. Next thing I wanted to talk about, is it just me, or does everyone smoke pot? What I mean is, does it seem to anyone else that everyone is smoking pot? I gave rides to a couple of different people. I want to talk about one of them. The first ride was a group of 4 people, I don't know, early 20s, maybe 25. I was giving them a ride out to a bar. They were having a great time. But another guy I gave a ride to, this guy, I'm not going to say his name because he asked me to change it, but we're going to call him Locke. Locke reminded me of Prince. Locke was a flashy kind of guy. Not that he was dressed like Prince, but he was not what I expected. And he was very gregarious and wanted to talk. But I'm going to play both of those audio clips for you guys. You'll get my point with the question, what I'm asking. Is it just me? This is Downtime in Daytona. I am sitting here with Jack, Hannah, Callum, and
Melissa.
Melissa. You guys, do I have your permission to record you for the podcast?
You
Yeah.
absolutely do.
All right. Jack is the only one in the car who lives in Daytona. Jack, I want to ask you, what do you do with your downtime in Daytona?
What do I do with my downtime in Daytona? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I
Please.
will say that booze takes up a little bit of my downtime
Okay.
here in Daytona. But I love to go to the beach, walk on the beach, fish a little bit, and,
We already talked about your sophisticated taste in booze. So can you just tell for my audience what you like to drink?
Yeah, so I am a domestic beer guy. I don't mess around with any craft beers.
Just domestic beer? Or is
No,
there
absolutely
particular
not.
domestic?
Miller Lite is actually
Because of the special ingredients?
Because of the special ingredient, which we just found out was corn syrup tonight. But I can use the extra calories, so I'm happy
Sure.
to do it. And then I love bourbon as well. I'm a dark liquor man. That's my preference, and I stick to it.
All right, and if I stopped recording right now, we would just think you're an alcoholic. What else do you like to do?
Well, I like to read. I like to fish, and I like to get out in nature. I like to be outside and stay busy.
Jack, you said you were going to be honest with me a minute ago. What else did you say you like to do?
I like to fish, drink, and
Cigarettes.
Well, I think everybody loves a good, we can call it cigarette every now and then, that
Good cigarette.
allows them to relax.
Professionally
and be
rolled
open
or
to the world.
personally rolled?
See, with me, they're kind of the same thing.
Are they?
Yes, both professionally and personally rolled. I take pride. That's actually one of the things I enjoy to do the most is the rolling aspect of it,
Right.
because I find it relaxing and as enjoyable as the actual
Do you need a
smoking.
prescription for these cigarettes?
Absolutely, because in the state of Florida, it's illegal to not have a prescription and enjoy the cigarettes I'm talking about. So we're going to just go ahead and say I do have a prescription.
And can you spell your last name for the record? No, I'm just kidding. No.
That is actually, see, that's escaping my thought
I
at
would
the moment.
leave it anyway. Thank you for playing. Okay, so that was interesting. I wonder what kind of cigarettes Jack was talking about. The other guy I was telling you about, Locke, this is actually the last part of the conversation with him. I picked him up from one place, and as we were driving by another place that he had mentioned earlier in our ride, I mentioned to him, hey, this is the place. This is where you were last night.
I went there, yes.
Yep.
And that was fucking
How was that?
weird as fuck. Super weird.
How come?
Because everyone smoked weed in that bitch.
Yeah.
I was surprised on how everyone was so easy about smoking weed in there.
Yeah, that's Daytona.
No, I mean, like, I was watching people in there. I was just surprised because, like, you know what? Everyone was smoking weed in there.
So I don't have to keep it on the tape if you don't want it, but were you smoking weed in there too?
I tried, but I could not.
You tried.
Eventually, the bartender hooked me up with someone who gave me. I liked, it's the end of the night. I want to smoke weed.
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
sleep. It's my little thing. And so I was there, and everyone was talking. And I'm like, you know what? I wish someone would be nice enough to let me have the rest of their J.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't tell you how many times I felt exactly the same way. No, I'm just kidding. So Locke brought it up. I didn't want to do it. We're going to have to talk about it. Gentlemen's clubs. There are a few here in Daytona. They are quite a draw. They get a lot of attention. And I don't care what you say, strip clubs are an attraction. Now, I'm not saying people seek them out from afar, but just like my brewery bus tour is listed in the category of attractions, so are strip clubs. They're not just for men, but they're for couples and even women by themselves. Now, in the city of Daytona itself, new dancing is covered under the Constitution as free speech, but each state gets to make its own laws. So if the state law does not differ from the federal laws, it inherits the federal law. This follows down to the county and to the city. At the city level, Daytona Beach has additional restrictions. So in venues that sell alcohol, dancers must cover 1/3 of their buttocks and 1/4 of their breasts. So this bothers a lot of men that I bring to strip clubs, but given the option to have full nudity without alcohol or partial nudity with alcohol, I wonder what choice would you make? Feel free to leave me an answer. You know where to find the ability to leave me a message. I'm going to play you the first part of my interview with Locke. Downtime in Daytona. This is Steve. I'm here with Kyle. Can I have your permission to record you for the podcast?
Let's do it, bro.
All right. So you live in Tampa. You're a bartender. You're out here, and we're talking about Silhouettes. Strip club.
Correct, my friend.
Strip club that's been open for just over a year, I think. But I'm going to tell you, based on what I know, I've been driving Uber in here for about 4 years.
Okay.
And from what I know is when the races are in town,
Mhm.
the men who come to town for the races and that leave their wife at home, like the guys, it's like a guys' weekend. They come for the races, right? Those guys are immediately at the strip club when the race is over. And normally we have, there's like 4 over here,
Okay.
beachside almost.
I understand.
So when that place went up, I thought, okay, there's only one reason that it's there is to capitalize on this here. So I would think that the girls they have there during the races would be the best. Based on what you saw tonight, was it the best?
Honestly, there was a smorgasbord of women there.
Good work.
I was surprised.
Okay.
I showed up late. I was trying to watch the second half of the race, the laps.
Yep.
When I got to the arena, they weren't selling tickets anymore.
For the listeners, we're talking about the Coke Zero 400, by the way.
Yes, the 400. There was 50 laps left. I got back looking to watch the end of the race because you know what? The end of the race is the most important part of the race.
Yep.
So that's what I was doing. So when I got there and they were like, no more tickets being sold, I was gonna walk across the street and go to Hooters.
Okay, so you didn't even have your tickets yet.
I had no tickets.
Okay.
I figured it was like Tampa. You can just walk up.
You
and
came all the way from Tampa hoping.
Exactly.
All right.
I mean that's on Tampa. You walk up to the arena.
Usually
like,
you can.
There's someone selling tickets.
Yeah.
So I went to the strip club. And it was the way you picked me up from.
Yep.
I forget the name of it now.
Silhouettes.
And I realized when I got there, we were the early crowd, but there were a ton of beautiful ladies there.
How many is a ton?
There were at least 20 girls at this bar.
Wow.
Which I thought it was a lot.
That's a small place.
I mean, exactly. I was surprised how many different kinds of flavors there were there.
So you don't come here very often.
Not at all.
Not at all. So you haven't been to any of the other ones around here, at least in a while.
I went to the club last night.
Okay.
And it was because it was on the way home.
So everybody, by and large, like 60% or more of the people tell me the best one is Grandview Live.
Honestly, if I didn't fool with me, I'd like drop me off there. It was like, what are the women like? Are they friendly? Are they not friendly? And that's what we need to realize.
In my opinion, strippers, when they're in the club and working,
super friendly.
They're super friendly. When they're off work, they have no time for men.
Oh, I understand.
So
I wouldn't either. I bartend.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't want to make drinks when I'm off work.
Exactly. I thought that was really funny. Locke was a funny guy. But isn't it crazy how everything comes full circles? We're now back to the races, strippers, and weed. Boy, I hope life has more to offer us than that. But guys, I do want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to yet another episode. I hope there was something here worth talking about, and I really do hope to hear back from you. So please do me the favor, subscribe, and if you liked what you heard, any part of what you heard, please share it with somebody. If you live in Daytona, please share it with someone. I might have interviewed them on the show, and if I didn't, I might interview them next week. So thanks for joining me. Downtime in Daytona. We will see you soon.